In the heart of Tokyo, where space is scarcer than a moment of silence, a quiet revolution is reshaping the very idea of home. Picture this: homes no larger than 200 square feet, barely the size of a single parking space, not only exist, but thrive. These are Tokyo's micro-apartments, compact marvels that have captured the imagination of a city, and increasingly, the world. They're not just a response to a crowded urban landscape, they're a bold redefinition of what it means to live well. How did these tiny spaces, often smaller than a modest hotel room, evolve from a necessity into a global lifestyle trend? What draws people to embrace a life where every square inch is precious? Let's step inside and explore the phenomenon that is Tokyo's micro-apartments, a story of ingenuity, adaptation, and a surprising kind of freedom. Tokyo is a city that pulses with contradictions. It's a sprawling metropolis where millions live, work, and dream, a place where gleaming skyscrapers cast shadows over centuries-old temples. Here, the future and the past coexist in a delicate dance, where cutting-edge technology powers daily life, yet the soft strum of a koto can still be heard in quiet corners. But one truth binds this vibrant chaos: space is the city's rarest commodity. Land is so valuable that every plot is a treasure, and with population swelling and demand for housing soaring, Tokyo has been forced to rethink what a home can be. The micro-apartment is the city's answer, a solution born from the crucible of necessity, yet one that has blossomed into something far more profound, a lifestyle choice that resonates with a generation seeking meaning over excess. These micro-apartments are nothing short of architectural alchemy. Imagine a space where a bed folds seamlessly into a wall, revealing a cozy living area beneath. A table, compact and unassuming, doubles as a desk or a dining surface depending on the hour. Storage is hidden in every nook, under floors, behind panels, even within staircases that lead to lofted sleeping areas. Every inch is accounted for, every design choice deliberate. These homes are not just about fitting people into tight spaces. They're about crafting environments that feel complete, even within their constraints. The genius lies in the details: a strategically placed mirror to amplify light, a high ceiling to create a sense of airiness, a window that frames the city like a living painting. But this isn't merely about clever furniture or space-saving hacks. The rise of micro-apartments signals a cultural shift, a reimagining of what it means to live in a city that never stops moving. To understand this shift, let's meet Aiko Tanaka, a 29-year-old graphic designer whose 190-square-foot apartment is a testament to the power of small. Aiko calls her home her creative sanctuary, a space that bursts with personality despite its size. Her walls are adorned with vibrant artwork, potted plants bring a touch of nature indoors, and a tiny projector transforms her living area into a makeshift cinema for movie nights. For Aiko, this isn't just a place to sleep, it's a canvas for her passions. She brews coffee in a compact kitchen that's more like a well-organized puzzle, works at a fold-out desk that tucks away when not in use, and hosts friends for tea on cushions arranged on the floor. "I used to think I needed a big space to feel free," she says, her voice warm with conviction. "But living here, I've learned to focus on what matters. My work, my passions, my friends. Everything else, I let go." Aiko's story is far from unique. Across Tokyo, a diverse tapestry of residents is embracing micro-apartments, not just as a practical choice, but as a deliberate one. Young professionals, drawn by the affordability and proximity to the city's beating heart, find these homes a perfect fit for their fast-paced lives. Artists, like Aiko, see them as blank slates for creativity, where minimalism fuels inspiration. Even retirees seeking simplicity after years of accumulating possessions are downsizing to micro-apartments, finding joy in a lighter, more intentional existence. Take Kenji Sato, a 65-year-old who traded a spacious family home for a 200-square-foot unit. After my kids moved out, I didn't need all that space anymore, he says, his eyes crinkling with a smile. This place is simple. I walk to the park, meet friends at the cafe. I feel younger here, unburdened. For these residents, micro-apartments offer more than affordability. They offer freedom. Less space means less clutter, fewer possessions to maintain, and, for many, a life that feels less weighed down by the demands of modern consumerism. It's a kind of liberation, one that resonates with a global movement toward minimalism and sustainability. In a world where more is often the default, more space, more stuff, more status, these tiny homes challenge the status quo. They ask, what do you truly need to be happy? For Aiko, it's a sketchbook and a good playlist. For Kenji, it's a morning stroll through a cherry blossom park. The answers are as varied as the people who live here, but the common thread is a focus on experiences over things, on quality over quantity. Yet, living small is not without its challenges. Micro-apartments demand a level of compromise that can test even the most adaptable. Storage is a constant puzzle, with residents becoming masters of organization, finding ways to tuck away clothes, kitchenware, and personal treasures in spaces that seem impossibly small. Privacy is another casualty. Sound travels easily through thin walls, and personal space is often shared with the hum of the city outside. Hosting guests can feel like a logistical feat, with dinner parties requiring creative choreography in spaces where every movement counts. Picture a young couple, Yumi and Taro, laughing as they navigate their 170-square-foot apartment, bumping elbows while preparing a meal. Sometimes we're like, okay, you stay there, I'll move, Yumi says, her voice tinged with humor. It's cozy, but you have to be patient. The physical constraints are only part of the story. Living in a micro-apartment requires a psychological adjustment, a willingness to embrace limits rather than resist them. Architects like Tetsuya Nakamura understand this intimately. In his studio, surrounded by blueprints and models, he explains the art of designing for small spaces. The challenge is as much psychological as it is physical, he says. We use high ceilings to create a sense of vertical space, large windows to bring in light and views, neutral colors to make rooms feel airy. It's about tricking the mind into feeling unconfined, even when the walls are close. His designs are a masterclass in illusion, transforming cramped quarters into spaces that feel open, inviting, and alive. But not everyone sees micro-apartments as a triumph of design. Critics argue that these tiny homes, for all their ingenuity, are a symptom of deeper systemic issues. Sociologist Emi Hayashi, speaking from a university lecture hall, offers a sobering perspective. Micro-apartments are a response to a housing crisis, she says, her tone measured but firm. When young people can't afford anything larger, we're normalizing a kind of urban survivalism. These homes are innovative, yes, but they're also a warning, a sign of inequality and a shortage of affordable housing. Her words cut through the romanticism, reminding us that the rise of micro-apartments is tied to economic realities. For many residents, these homes are not just a choice, but a necessity, a way to stay in a city where larger apartments are increasingly out of reach. This tension between innovation and necessity, freedom and constraint, lies at the heart of the micro-apartment phenomenon. It's a story that resonates far beyond Tokyo's borders. The tiny home movement, sparked in part by Tokyo's example, has rippled across the globe, from the shoebox apartments of New York to the compact studios of Hong Kong and London. Social media has amplified this trend, with influencers showcasing their micro homes in polished Instagram reels, hashtags like more tiny living and iMicrohome trending among millennials and Gen Z. These platforms have turned small space living into a kind of aspirational aesthetic, where minimalism is not just practical, but chic, a badge of intentionality in a world of excess. Yet Tokyo remains the epicenter, the gold standard for micro-living. Its architects have honed the craft of small space design to a fine art, blending functionality with beauty in ways that inspire designers worldwide. At a design expo in the city, the future of micro-apartments is on full display. Picture prototypes that push the boundaries of possibility, furniture that responds to voice commands, folding and unfolding to suit the moment, vertical gardens that bring greenery into even the smallest spaces, AI systems that optimize lighting and temperature for comfort and efficiency. These innovations are not just about making small spaces livable, they're about making them delightful, sustainable, and deeply human. At its core, the micro-apartment trend is about more than clever design or economic pragmatism. It's about a philosophy, a way of seeing the world that prioritizes essence over excess. Aiko, sitting cross-legged on her apartment floor, sketching in a notebook, captures this beautifully. Living small makes you ask, "What do I really need?" she says. Not just in my home, but in my life. It's liberating, like shedding a weight you didn't know you were carrying. Kenji, walking through a park as cherry blossoms drift around him, offers his own wisdom. This life, it's not about what you own, he says. It's about what you experience, the moments that fill your days. In a world that often equates success with accumulation, bigger homes, more possessions, higher status, Tokyo's micro-apartments offer a radical counterpoint. They challenge us to rethink our priorities, to find joy in simplicity, to build lives that are rich in meaning rather than square footage. This is not just a housing trend. It's a movement, a call to live deliberately in a world that pulls us toward excess. It's a challenge to strip away the unnecessary and discover what truly matters, whether that's a quiet moment with a sketchbook, a walk through a blooming park, or a laugh shared with a friend in a tiny, perfectly imperfect home. Tokyo's micro-apartments are a testament to human ingenuity, a reminder that even in the tightest spaces, life can flourish. They show us that constraints, far from limiting us, can spark creativity, foster connection, and inspire new ways of being. This is more than a story of small homes in a big city. It's a philosophy, a challenge, a new way to live. And in Tokyo, where every inch is a canvas for innovation, it's home. If you enjoyed this dive into Tokyo's micro-apartments, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and drop a comment below. Could you live in a 200 square foot home?